Welcome back, everybody. Republican presidential contender Michele Bachmann continues to rise in key states critical to winning the GOP nomination. But what about the man that's backing her? Her husband, Dr. Marcus Bachmann, is drawing heated criticism for his highly questionable stance on homosexuality. Just take a listen to this.
We have to understand barbarians need to be educated. They need to be disciplined. And just because someone feels it or thinks it doesn't mean that we're supposed to go down that road. That's what's called the sinful nature. And we have a responsibility as parents and as authority figures not to encourage such thoughts and feelings to move into the action steps.
David Graham is a reporter for the Daily Beast. He's been covering Michele Bachmann and the potentiality of her first dude. David, good to have you. I don't know if first dude fits. We still haven't figured out what goes properly with the moniker of a first husband, so to speak. But that was from an interview in 2010, an interview that Dr. Bachmann did with a Christian radio station. So is this guy kidding, saying that homosexuals are barbarians that need to be educated and disciplined?
It's very consistent with his views, both on counseling and on homosexuality. So in the past, he's allegedly participated in sort of gay to straight therapy. He's talked about a homosexual agenda. And at the same time, his therapy is focused on sort of telling people what to do and instilling authority rather than giving people an opportunity to talk.
You point out that he's a relatively private guy. He does describe himself as a Christian therapist. But this person also believes that gays are sick and that they can be cured.
He hasn't been that explicit, but that appears to be his attitude. And I've heard that in sort of Christian circles, the idea of barbarians as people who are outside of the norms of behavior is a common thing. But he certainly does seem to have a deep suspicion of homosexuality and of gay people.
Something that's becoming under scrutiny now is federal money that's been going to the services that Dr. Bachmann provides. Last year, he got $137,000 in Medicaid payments. These are taxpayer funds for therapy, which he provides within his psychology or within his institution itself. But do we know what these services are for, and is there any correlation to anti-gay therapy?
We don't know exactly what those services are for. I think that's also notable is it runs against the grain of Michele Bachmann's very prominent anti-government spending policy. She's talked about these programs as welfare, so that's a liability for her as well.
When we talk about what's going on in this country, about how this country feels about LGBT equality, 53% of this country are now in favor of marriage equality for gays and lesbians. How is the stance of Dr. Bachmann going to play out as Michele Bachmann becomes a more prominent GOP political figure? Obviously, a spouse is part of that package that you're getting elected into office. How do you think that the message that he has is going to play out and bleed into the message of Michele Bachmann?
Well, she's certainly also been stridently anti-gay. She's spoken out for laws prohibiting same-sex marriage, for example. So on that point, it's not that dissimilar from what she says. And in the GOP primary, you can't imagine it's going to be a major issue. In the general election, though, as you say, with views changing, it could be a greater liability.
But in the way that the campaign is going, you don't think that it has the potential to derail her politically?
I think he'll come into the spotlight, certainly. And as I say, given her stances, I don't think it's a major shift during the primary. But yeah, I mean, he will be somebody who has to be prominent. Political spouses are always prominent, so he will be much more in the spotlight.
Dr. Marcus Bachmann, a man we need to learn more about. David, great to have you on today. Thanks so much.